observations, thoughts about the way today went. Kind of got rough toward the end, but overall, you guys had another dominating performance.
Yeah, I think it was a bit of a frustrating game at times. I thought our first period we came out, really hard, executed. Our compete level was high, our work ethic was high, and then it kind of dubbed down a little bit. The flow of the game was also, you have a quick turnaround from opening night, high emotion, a lot of energy, and then you come back to an afternoon game, and sometimes there's a bit of a dip. But I think if we just have to work a little bit smarter and together, especially our neutral zone play. I like our exits out of the D zone. Our breakouts have been good. Once we get in our structure defensively, we're fine. It's just once we get over the red line, we start to complicate things and look like we're trying to do too much and forcing plays. And in the end zone offense, it's the same thing. And that translates into our power play. I mean, our power play with the amount of personnel and skill we have is we're just not all on the same page, and we're trying to do a little too much. And, it's human nature that, everyone wants to have the ball, but it's going to be everybody.
Talk about Della Rovere. 2 games in a row, he's been pretty much a presence for you guys.
Yeah, and I think we saw him last year in preseason and a little bit towards the end of the year, but I've liked what I've seen. I mean, he's systematically, his attention to detail the last 2 games have been really good. Obviously, his grit and his toughness. He's smart, picks his spots, and he goes to the net. He goes to the hard, high traffic areas, and when we're again, he's starting to get more responsibility on our end. Leadership-wise, you could see he's emerging a little bit as well, which is great, and he's been good on the PK. And obviously the 1-second goal was a nifty little move there as well. So I like the way he's stepped up and he's played. And especially for a guy I haven't really seen much of. But he had a good weekend.
From a team defensive standpoint, both nights you're giving up 30 plus, or actually 35 plus shots on net. Today it was almost 2/3 of the shots were in the second and third periods. Is that a problem, or do you or is it just kind of something that you've got to work on, and gradually as we get further down the road, 5 games, 10 games, 15 games, that might kind of iron itself out?
Well, you can't give up 35, 40 shots, 3 days in a row. It's going to come at you, and I think Sparksy was great, kind of settling it down for us. But again, a lot of it we did, we were doing to ourselves. We were inflicting it on ourselves as far as our turnovers and forcing plays. And again, like if we manage the puck a little bit better in the offensive zone and clean up the turnovers in the neutral zone, we'll eliminate those shots. I mean, that's where a lot of it stemmed from, was just turnovers and sustained pressure on our own end and not being able to break out, and our shift management, and getting out there a little bit too long, and we just have to clean that up. And all these problems can be fixed. It just has to be coming from the buy-in aspect of it.
Hey, Vince, last year I think it was 11 straight games the team scored first on home ice to start the year. You get first 2 games scored first and both really early. What do you think's been the important thing to start fast?
Well, we're ready to play. I think it's like anything. You get up a few goals, and then that's where the dip happens. I mean, you have to be able to close teams out. I mean, 5-1 the other night. It's still, they had it's a 5-2 hockey game. There's a 5-on-3. That game can change just like that. Tonight, you get up 3-0, and then you let off the gas, and like I said, it can. They get 1, they get 2. It's a game, even right up until the last 5 minutes there with the power play. So we just have to full 60 minutes, and that's going to take time in the sense of guys getting acclimated with each other, getting some more consistency. But that's important in this league, with the culture of this league, and leading into next weekend. I mean, we have to be able to play full 60 minutes, especially against a team like Florida. They've got a very good hockey team.
Last night it was very contentious between the 2 teams, pretty much through the back half of the game. Today it was the front half of the game, in particular the second period. Is this something that you've got to kind of work on with the guys to be able to get them to kind of not let the other team get into their head, with the way it seems Greenville was doing, kind of getting you guys agitated and into fights? I mean, how many times has Jake Seepins got this ball?
Well, we got a bit of a cranky group, a little snarly. So, and you could tell it. The frustration crept in. I mean, but at the same time too, I don't think anyone feels that there's team toughness is important. I think guys coming together, and it's everybody. And but you know, I think everyone just got a little cranky the second half, the third period.
How important was this weekend as far as setting you guys up for next weekend? You mentioned having to see Florida a couple of times, the in-state arch rival.
Yep.
You know, they usually put a pretty aggressive goal-scoring type
Yep.
team on the ice. How do you feel after this weekend, you guys have set up for that?
Well, we have to have a good week of practice. We have to certainly, you know, keep tighten things up. And you don't want to get into like a run and gun match with them. I mean, we have to be smart with, you know, if we have the puck and we keep the game, you know, contained along the walls and win those battles, and we're going to be fine. I mean, they're always, they come out hard in their building. I mean, it's an emotional series all the time. You know, it's a mini playoff series, and it's 3 in a row. So, you know, we have to make sure that we just have to, you know, just do a little more teaching. You know, show what we did well, show what we need to improve upon, and be able to manage the puck a little bit better, because, you know, you can't be giving up 40 shots a night against them and you know, get into a run and gun match. I mean, it's they got a lot of firepower. They're a good hockey team, so, you know, we're familiar with them in that sense. So we just got to make sure our structure, you know, really you know, pays off in our discipline as well. You know, not putting them on the power play at all. Good. All right.
First off, take us through the goal that you scored today.
Yeah, I don't remember a whole lot. I know Anno gave me a good pass, and I just tried to get it on net, and it seemed found a hole somewhere.
You're one of the new faces on the Rovere's team this year. They've only played 2 regular season games. What are your impressions of the group of guys in the locker room and out on the ice, and how well you seem so far to be working together?
Yeah, I think we had a couple good games. I think we had some timely goals, and we had really good goaltending, so that kind of covered up some mistakes and some flaws in our game. And yeah, I think it's a good group of guys. I mean, I'm new here, so I'm just trying to feel my way out, just like everybody else. But yeah, I think we're going to keep growing, and there'll be some growing pains, I'm sure, but we'll do our best.
How hard is it to play back-to-back games in this format, 7 o'clock and then 3 o'clock for the very first set of games that you play on the year?
Yeah, I think, I mean, me, myself, this is my 5th year, so I kind of used to it. I mean, it seems like you kind of wait around for the season to start, and then it's just, you get right into it pretty quick. Yeah, I think that, you know, it's maybe a little tough with the turnaround, but it's the same for Greenville, so, and we had the home crowd, so I think it was an advantage for us.
What are your impressions of the Amway Center and the Rovere's fan base? Last night, over 8,000. Yeah, today a little bit less than that, but still it was a pretty boisterous crowd for the first 2 periods.
Yeah, last night was great, and today was good. I think it's always nice to have good support when you're playing at home. It gives you a good home ice advantage, and that's important.
You did play in the 2 exhibition games down in Estero against Florida. What have the guys who played in those games told you about them as far as kind of what to expect with the 3 games against them coming up this coming week?
Absolutely nothing. Haven't talked about Florida yet. We were just worried about Greenville. I'm sure it'll be with playing Florida all 3 games, I'm sure that this week will be all geared towards that, and I'm sure I'll get the inside scoop. But yeah, this whole week was just leading up for this weekend, and same with this next upcoming week.
You went to training camp, of course, in Toronto. You had a chance to play a little bit with some of those guys that you had training camp with now here in Orlando. You think it helped getting adjusted early on to have camp in the American League with some of these guys too?
Yeah, I think you know, there's so many of us from Toronto that are down here that I think we all are kind of familiar with each other. We kind of lines were mixed and matched every day in Toronto, so you got a chance to play with lots of guys. Yeah, and I think with the guys that have come down here late, like Biggs and Ross and Sparks, they've done a good job, and they've you know, Rupert as well. I think that they've added to the team, and yeah, fit in, and they're playing hard, so it's really good.
How's the locker room been so far? You know, guys that we've talked to so far this weekend have talked about how it's it's an all-for-one kind of mentality. Have you sensed that, and how nice is that to be able to have that factor going for you guys so early in the season?
Yeah, I think it's a long season, so I think like one of the main objectives early on is to, you know, come together as a team and try to find that unity as one group. I think we're going to have to keep working on that. And yeah, I don't know. I think that it's such a feeling out the first weekend for everybody personally and as a team. So I think that as a group, we're just going to try to get closer as a team and on and off the ice.
Okay, Stefan, first of all, why don't you take us through the 2 goals that you scored today? The second one in particular was a very pretty one.
Well, the first one, you know, there was a rebound there, and Ross kicked that out to the front. I was just there at a good spot at a good time and banged it home. And the second one, you know, I just got really lucky. I kind of blacked out there, but, you know, it was just, you know, I like to make those plays once in a while, you know, kind of down low and try not to turn it over.
Yeah, you've had kind of a pretty busy weekend as far as the 2 games, not only points-wise, but getting involved physically, dropping the gloves. Is that part of your game, being rough and tumble and not being afraid to go into the corners and if need be drop the gloves and throw down with guys?
Well, yeah, that's my game. I like to play a full all-around game. You know, whether it's sticking up for my teammates, fighting, and trying to chip in offense, and obviously playing good defense. But you know, collectively as our whole team, you know, I was really impressed how, you know, we came together the first game. We all stuck up for each other and when things were getting rough. And you know, at the end of the day, we got 4 points this weekend, and that's huge for us.
You spent time up in Toronto in the Marlies camp, along with a lot of the other guys who are here. How much has that helped you guys as a team to be able to get off to such a fast start?
You know, it's obviously very key for us, especially getting to know each other earlier rather than later, and you know, getting used to the guys, their personnel on and off the ice was it's a big step forward, and you know, it shows on the ice how we know where each other we're going to be, and at the end of the day, like I said, you know, we felt comfortable out there, and obviously there's some stuff we have to still work on, but it's still early in the season, and we're just happy to get 2 wins this weekend.
Stefan, I know you didn't get a chance to play a lot of games last year. Got out to a real quick start here to start this season. Can you talk about what maybe you had to do in the off season to get ready for this after not getting a full year?
You know, last year was a rough start. I was hurt for the first 4 months, and you know, I really got my confidence back during the end of the season there. But you know, it was a big summer for me. I knew I had a lot to do, and you know, I had to turn a lot of heads, and you know, obviously it was mostly confidence I was lacking, and you know, getting a good start like this, I just got to keep it going and can't let it get the most of me.